Unless you've been living in a cavernous dungeon several hundred miles underneath the Earth's crust, you've heard of the children's folk song Johny, Johny. Allegedly created by a lonely hot dog salesman from Kenya named Ishbu Yarafat, the song has taken off in Kenya, India, Madagascar, and now the entire Western and Eastern world. Unfortunately, there's a shocking and horrifying truth about the popular nursery rhyme that could leave you chewing random objects so anxiously that you need dentures at the age of 25. Again, you already know this, but the lyrics? Call and response, stomp and holler. Johny, Johny, the father figure calls to his pint-sized little squirt. Yes, Papa, the snot-nosed troublemaker calls back. Eating sugar? Father scolds. No, Papa. Junior masterfully commits as an act of parental conceit. Telling lies. The passive-aggressive middle-aged Amazon warehouse worker barks back, presumably on a 5-minute break. No, Papa. The moral-lacking munchkin professes. Open your mouth, Father demands, in an aggressive tone made illegal of parents toward their offspring in Obama's America. Ha, ha, ha. And yes, the horrible truth. Johny lied. Several sugar cubes are crammed into his mischievous palate. And then the video ends. Or perhaps it's replaced with multicolored Super Mario clones skateboarding or spider people with sludgy suction cup appendages climbing up the walls eating frogurt and reminiscing about the sweet-tasting treats rewarded from flagrant dishonesty. Or, well, it's a meme. But none of those YTPs, no matter how alarming, are as disgruntling as the actual original Johny, Johny. Yes, it begins with the traditional setup and lyrics, but once it gets to the eating sugar part, the father's eyes expand with redness, swelling, and tears, as if anticipating that something truly disorienting and disturbing is about to take place. Once it gets to the telling lies line, it only gets all the more perplexing and tragic. When Junior laughs. Oh, when Junior laughs. Sit down, son. I have something to tell you. The child figure sits down on the precious, priceless mahogany stool. Do you remember your mother? He inquires. Junior begins to tear up and nods his head up and down. Do you remember what happened to your mother? He continues sobbing. Actual, non-crocodile tears. Before his father lets out a sigh so intense that it's a miracle he could find the breath within him to exhale it. She had a sugar allergy, Johny. An extreme form of diabetes, never before discovered and reported. And you inherited, my son. Johny freaks out. His eyes bulge like goose eggs and warts, and giant red acne pimples and sores break out all over his pudgy little face. And then Johny, he gives up the ghost. He falls and hits the floor. His father runs over to him, wearing socks with sandals, caressing his child's head, and screaming, "No!" into the straw hut ceiling for 4.5 minutes, fist clenched and mustache somehow set aflame. The original Johny, Johny YouTube video ends with Johnny's dad visiting his son's and wife's graves next to each other, covered in a refined white crystallized substance that isn't methamphetamine related, I don't think. Life is not sweet, but now you can have all the sugar in the world. The father figure mumbles between sobs while crouched on all fours in front of the graves. He then reaches behind his departed wife's grave and pulls out a shovel. Johnny's father spends a very long time It's implied by the animation of the sun going down and the moon rising and otherwise total darkness to be night now. Digging a new plot in between Johny and his mother's grave. And then the father figure, he yells out something, and I'm not quite sure what, before falling into the grave head first, arms outstretched like Scott Stapp in a Creed video, resigned, depressed, and psychologically war-torn, plummeting to his presumed death. A sound effect and a crash from an old Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner cartoon, implying a miles-deep drop to his earthly demise is heard. I don't know why they put that in there. Maybe something about the deceit of always chasing things and never quite catching them, like trying to save your son from poisoning himself and dying forever. I didn't see any hint of faith anywhere in this video, so that didn't help me feel any better either. I ended up using a third-party YouTube downloader site and sent the video off to a friend who performed some ethical hacking digital forensics upon it. He says that the father's mumbling before deep-sixing himself in the cemetery was some sort of Masonic chant that he had vague memories of from his time during temple sacrifice rituals before waking up, quote-unquote, from that Freemason cult he was in. But he didn't quite remember. A few months later, he texted me again, and he said it was in the style of the Masonic chant for sure. It was actually a grim and dire warning about the sugar trade establishing a new world order, overthrowing dictators in some Banana Republic island nations in which sugar is their staple export. But man, I don't know. Listen, I can't absolutely prove that it was the original Johnny video, and obviously that song well predates YouTube, but the year on the video was 2006, so it was presumably released well before that nursery rhyme became a meme. I don't have a copy of the video anymore due to formatting my hard drive without thinking twice about it and losing access to my AOL email so very long ago. But there is one other piece of information I can deliver you. I remember specifically that the YouTube channel had Nephilim in the name, and the channel icon was the picture of a fallen angel.